Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Nirmal Bang. I'm Hiral Dadia. We have with us Girish Agarwal, Promoter Director, DB Corp, joining in. Welcome to the show, Girish. Firstly, let me wish you congratulations as well with regards to the recent declared readership and circulation results that have come in, by MRUC as
Thank
well
you.
as ABC, where Dainik Bhaskar has become the leader in Rajasthan, and this is first time in history. Firstly, let's talk about Rajasthan, Girish. What is it that you've done rightly that's actually led us to these kind of numbers?
See, in the earlier years, our focus was more in the urban towns and bigger towns. There's a reason, if you remember, right from 97 when we launched in Rajasthan, in Jaipur, we became number one in Jaipur right from the day one. And then we became number one in Ajmer and the other big cities. Over a period of time, we realized that the consumption pattern in Rajasthan is also going into the rural market. Earlier rural market was not considered to be consuming market. But then when we realized the rural market also is consuming, we changed our focus and we spread in whole of Rajasthan. So we have 17 printing setups in Rajasthan, 17 editions in Rajasthan. We employ almost 2,000 people in Rajasthan. We have almost 600 journalists working in Rajasthan. So we did all that groundwork in Rajasthan in last many years, and the results came out from the MRUs in ABC. So now, as per the result, we are the largest paper in terms of AIR, daily readership, and also the number of copies sold in Rajasthan. And not only in the cities, but also in the rural market also. That's very encouraging for us.
Right. And with this, with other key markets as well, if you talk about MP, Haryana, Chandigarh, Punjab, as well as Gujarat, we've seen a consistent gain in readership growth that has come in, as well as if you talk about Bihar as well. So are you following the same strategy in these markets as well, or is it still different state to state?
No, some strategy is different. Like for example, in Madhya Pradesh, we've been leader from last many years, like decades also now, because we started from Madhya Pradesh. Same is the case in Chhattisgarh. In Haryana also, when we launched in 2000, we became the first paper actually of Haryana because most of the paper were earlier circulating from Punjab or Delhi into Haryana. And people used to think Haryana is a state by the highway, the dhabas and all that. But when we looked at that market, it was a population of 2.5 crores in way back in 2000.
Wow.
And we were surprised that a 2.5 crore population market never had a newspaper of its own. So we launched the paper in Haryana from different markets and all that in the cities of Haryana. And we became much bigger in Haryana compared to any other newspaper. So coming to Bihar, we completed the launch of Bihar 2 years back. We started in 2014 in Bihar. And in Bihar also, we have been able to become the second largest paper as per the ABC in Bihar. And the strategy in Bihar is also same like Rajasthan. Now we want to go deeper in Bihar in terms of rural market also. Because Bihar is again 11 crore population market, is big. And again, unfortunately for Bihar, that the consumption right now is largely in the main cities. But as the prosperity is growing, I think the rural market of Bihar is also becoming important and potential. And government is acknowledging that fact also. So now maybe time for us to go into the rural Bihar also in much aggressive manner.
Right.
And
So,
same as Gujarat also.
correct.
Uh, Many of your viewers must be from Gujarat or have a connection with Gujarat. In Gujarat also, we are the largest paper in Ahmedabad city and in the bigger cities. So in Gujarat also, from last few years, we've been trying about the rural Gujarat and the smaller markets in Gujarat. Because earlier it was all about Ahmedabad, Surat, Baroda, Rajkot. Now even places like Mehsana or Nawaz Shahar and all that, they all have become, Navsari and all that have become very important. So we are penetrating those markets also.
Absolutely, and especially with regards to Gujarat, the quantum of manufacturing that's happening in Gujarat, a lot of migration is happening from metro cities to Gujarat as well, where people are putting up industries. So, as you mentioned, right, the readership will be going up as well, on that front because the population is increasing there as well. But with this, if you could just help me understand, Girish, by how much do you think will we be able to increase our market share as well as deals going ahead, taking all of these markets and the readership increase into consideration?
So what happened, there are two kind of market shares we operate. One is the readership and circulation market share, and one is the advertising market share as the impact of that. So our target is that we should have at least 60-65% market share in terms of readership and circulation. So if you have that, then your advertising market share goes beyond 70-75%. That's the target in most of the markets. We already have it in Madhya Pradesh. We already have it in Chhattisgarh and Haryana. We are now getting there in Rajasthan, and then Bihar and Gujarat are the next target.
Right. And with this, one of the major impacts that we've seen for the media space also, especially in terms of where print media is concerned, is on the back of COVID, because people stopped actually accepting newspapers in their homes as well. Because, I mean, still no one knows if it's still a fact whether, germs or COVID virus still remains on paper or not. But that was the fear that all of us were living with. Now, how has it impacted the print business?
So Hiral, I must clarify here to you that since you live in Mumbai, and what you spoke just now is all about Mumbai or the metros.
Correct.
Because what happened in Mumbai or Delhi, since I also lived in Mumbai, and currently I'm in Bhopal, but I live in Bombay. So in Bombay, we all live in vertical city. Our city is not like horizontal.
Horizontal.
We don't have a house, we have a flat, correct?
Correct.
While in rest of India, people have their houses, they have their bungalows, they have their colonies and all that. So in these tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, rural market and all that, there is no fear of COVID in the newspaper. So we are circulating almost 80-82% copies of our total numbers in last many months also in the COVID time also. And that 15-20% copy which went down was largely because of the railways, because we used to sell almost 3-4% copies in railways at those 200 odd stations for those who are in our area. And also the bus stand, all the cash point, and offices and shops. So because offices were shut, shops were shut, railway stations shut, so that 15-20% copy were not circulated. But mostly of the societies and houses were taking paper in our market. Unfortunately, in Bombay or Delhi or these kind of bigger cities, you have a problem because we all live in a big society. Our society decided not to let the outsiders come into the society and deliver the copy. Because newspaper can't be left, like a milk with the watchman. It has to be delivered because nobody knows, even the vendor who comes in, he doesn't know your name. He knows that from the left, the third house is yours and I have to deliver that particular newspaper. Correct. So because of that, society won't allow that many people. So the circulation took a hit in metros because of that.
Right. I mean, that's an interesting point that you've made. And with this, if we see the Q4 earnings also, Girish, and compare it to peers, DB Corp has well outperformed the peers as well. So if you could just help us understand what is it that has led to this outperformance amongst the peers?
I think it's all about the markets, how they behave. Though we outperformed the peers, but if you ask me, we were not very happy with the response, with the results. Why? Because there was a decline of 20% in the Q4 in terms of my top line in advertising. I was not happy. Though I was better than the peer, but I don't compare myself with the peer from that perspective. I have set a particular benchmark. I need to, operate on that. But unfortunately, we had that decline for two reasons. The initial month of January, February was bad because of the overall economic impact of around 8-9%. But from 15th of March, because of the COVID, the market started shutting down. And then 23rd, it was announced as a lockdown from 24th. So then those 6 days, 7 days were totally zero. That's the reason impact came on that. But thankfully now going forward in the month of June and July, we see a big improvement coming.
Right. So with this, if you have to take COVID impact into consideration in the year FY21, how are you expecting, what's the kind of growth you're pricing in for this year? Because all the industries, all sectors, all companies that we've been talking to, the only conversation that we've been having right now is that at least in the initial conversation was that if not losses, we at least want to break even this year. Though that has turned slightly positive now where they are seeing that little bit of demand that's picking up. But for the media space, for this industry, what's the kind of growth that you're pricing in for this year?
So frankly speaking, it that April was a washout, May was semi-washout, June has come back to some senses, and July onwards we believe things will be better. So I really can't say we'll be able to project a growth this year, but for sure I can say we will be able to post decent profit this year. So whatever losses we had to incur has already happened in this quarter. We are very confident from next quarter, company will start making some money. And then by the year we finish this year, 2021, I'm sure we will have decent profit with us.
Right. So, I mean, do you think the second half of FY21 will be able to make up for the first half? Or that's something, and not only for the company, I'm talking for the sector as a whole. Do you think that could be a vague possibility?
See, second half will be able to be much better than the first half, but will it make up for the loss of the first half? I doubt. Because you have to understand that 25%, which means one quarter, has gone totally washed out, which means the other 3 quarters need to grow by almost 38% to achieve this 25% deficit, which is very, very difficult. Not for my sector, for any other industry.
Right. And with this, I mean, majority of the industries have taken cost saving initiatives. DB Corp also, as per the earnings, have seen that there are cost saving initiatives that you're looking at. So what are they, and by how much do you think they will be able to actually, come and insulate margins in this year?
I think these are the difficult times, and these difficult times actually set you thinking, and you started questioning everything. So there are some advantages in this. Like, for example, in a normal scenario, when you call your team and saying that, guys, we are looking at a 10% cost saving, what people come back with some 0.5%. That's we tried everything. We really can't help it. That's the best we can do and all that. But when this kind of scenario on 1,000 crore cost base of ours, minus the new sprint, we were able to generate almost 12% of saving. And that came because a lot of automation happened, a lot of optimization, rationalization of resources and everything. So I think I would urge every company that please look at your cost every month. Don't think you have done in the month of April, so you are good now. Look at it again in June, July, August. Every month you must look at your cost, saying that what else is left out? How can I be much better? Over there, I would really give an example of an Indian housewife. You know how the housewives operate. You give them a particular money to manage their household. Okay, they never come back complaining, saying, listen, I'm running short. Can you give me some more money? One of the fees has to be given, or the tuition has to be paid, and all that. They know how to manage within that money. In fact, they save within that also. So I would request all the CFOs to actually learn from the Indian housewives how to optimize the cost.
Right. And, with cost optimization, the second part of the question was in terms of, the margin profile. Anything that you could give us in terms of by how much basis points our margins could probably improve?
I think we don't give the forward estimation. But what I indicated to you that this 10-12% cost saving is going to stay with us. So this is one indication of that.
Right. And with this, in terms of the ad revenues as well, Girish, majority of the sector, say from consumption side, the government side, we have seen a major downtick that did come in on the ad spend side. Now we are seeing some bit of green shoots that are emerging on the ad revenues as well. So which sectors, according to you, are the ones which will increase their spendings to get back to normalcy first?
I think automobile is one sector, two-wheelers and four-wheelers. They will spend, they're already spending. We saw the spending from them in the month of June itself. And that is one sector which will really strike hard to get back the sales. Another sector, FMCG anyways, advertising. Real estate is one sector which will do whatever best they can do because they need the inventory to be sold. So they are really pushing hard for that. Similarly, other sectors like lifestyle, jewelries and all that. So every sector would like to come out and woo the customer because this is the time. If they have to sell, they need to call the customer and they need to create that confidence with the customer that my product is the best. I'm offering you the best deal. Please come and talk to me. So I think almost every sector will do it. FMCG anyway is taking advantage right now because they are up from the last year's sales anyway.
Right. And Girish, is there a trend, last when I was talking to Amul as well, especially in terms of a TV advertisements go, the kind of numbers that they shared with us that the rack rates had gone down for them, at least for television, was, it was mind-boggling to see those kind of numbers. And they were like, we've probably spent one-tenth of what we would even spend in terms of, advertisement expenses. And the returns that they've got is almost 10 times. So has the same scenario panned out even in print media and on the radio side?
So I would put it other way, that in the month of April, May, June, even going forward, we are working with our clients handholding them to understand how we can help them to go in the market and woo the customer. This is not the time to say, I reduce my rates or somebody took the advantage of me and all that. No. I would put it this way, that we are working with the companies together, that how we can go out and woo the customer. My objective is what? My objective is not to only sell the advertising. My objective is that the company must get the sale. Because if they get the sale, they are going to stay with me. So my objective is to work together. In that case, if I have to reduce my rate for a couple of months' time and later on get the benefit back, I'm more than happy to do that. And that's the spirit.
Absolutely. I think, and that's what we've been discussing over the last couple of months, that right now it's not about competition as well. Co-opetition is something which needs to come into consideration from here on for the society, for corporates to work together and, help the economy as a whole. And with this, Girish, what's the sense that you have on the government spends? And because I do realize that the government, receivables which were still pending, they have been considerate enough towards corporates and have started clearing them. So how is it in the media space?
So fortunately, from the government side, all the state government were more than cooperative. So they were able to clear long outstanding of all the media houses so that people were able to, manage their expenses. Unfortunately, from the central government DAVP, you are not able to release any payment as such. And they are still talking. The newspaper association went to the minister, requested them to provide us help and pay us our old outstanding. So we are not asking for a favor. We are saying whatever money we have provided you the services, kindly pay us back.
Correct.
That's that money. So I think they are still taking some time to take a call on that.
Right. And any number do you have as to what is outstanding, not for the company as a whole, for the sector as a whole from the center?
I think for the sector, the money would be around 400-500 crore rupees with the DAVP for the print itself.
Okay. And with this, another trend that we are seeing is the consumption of digital that's increasing. Again, a similar phenomenon happening in the metro cities as well. As you mentioned that, the metro cities were the ones who were actually scared with regards to print consumption. So the digital uptick has been spectacular across. What is the kind of, digital revenue are you focusing from here on in terms of growth?
So I tell you what has happened in digital in our markets. So people are reading the paper in the morning and they're sitting at home or largely at home even after the market has opened up. Everybody is not that busy. So people want to be updated during the day. So they look at my app or other news apps to see what is happening during the day. In fact, this COVID has become like a 2020 match. Everybody wants to know what is the score, which state has got how many numbers and all that. So you read the paper in the morning and during the day you want to keep yourself updated. That's how the digital consumption has gone up. As far as we are concerned, our focus on digital is not on advertising. We are focusing on the consumer experience for the readers. So we are saying we don't want to load you with the advertisements on digital right now. So there is no much of talk about the digital revenue for us.
Right. But as a trend in the industry, are we seeing that there could be a threat coming in from digital ad revenues where companies could say that, okay, if the consumption of digital across the sector is increasing, why not advertise on digital platforms versus television or print or radio, however you could put it?
See, it's all about effectiveness. So one media, whether digital, print, radio, TV, we all compete with each other. But it's not that any of the media is redundant. It's all about being effective. Like when you read a newspaper, you don't switch over the advertisement. No, you read your news and you also look at the advertisement. Similarly, like in television, you do the same thing. Digital has certain advantage, but a disadvantage also. Because when the new ad comes in digital, what I do, I click that button, skip ad. Because I don't want to see it, that's an intrusion in me. While in digital, I can't do two things together. While in print, I can do two things together. I can read the news and also look at the ad also.
Correct.
So every medium has their own effective approach as such.
Right. And that's an interesting point that you made, correct, that, in terms of television, television, you might still mute it, but you still view the advertisement. And similarly, that's the scenario in print as well. You're still overlooking advertisements as they come. And with this, even for DB Corp, we've seen an uptick that's happened with regards to the consumption in the digital space. By how much has the traffic improved on the website and the app?
So we have seen almost 300% growth in the traffic on our app. Also, since you were mentioning about digital, digital, one more thing is happening. Initially, I thought I won't say, but let me say that digital is an opaque space when it comes to advertising.
Okay.
When you book an ad in digital, they tell you that I'll give you so many million hits, so many this, so many that. All that data is internal, which means you release the ad through an agency. They only tell you. There is no third party you can verify whether the ad was circulated, copies were sold or not, and all that. And that's the reason why the middleman makes huge chunk in that. So you book a digital for say 25 lakh rupees. Now the middleman may be making 5 lakhs or 7 lakhs or 8 lakhs. You don't know, because there is no transparency in digital. While in print and television, there's 100% transparency because they have to give you certification. There's a third party involved who certify that your ad was watched or read by so many people and that.
Absolutely.
So that's the reason why the middleman keeps pushing digital a bit more.
Right. And do you think a third party is something that could probably come up in the coming years for the digital side of this as well?
It should come. It should come because it's important for advertisers to see the transparency in the system because they are putting their hard-earned money in the digital platform also.
Correct. I understand what you're saying, because it just gives you the number of impressions. Now, from what is the impression, whether it's the right number, I mean, you have no clarity on that front. But an interesting point you made over there. And with this, let's shift focus from the digital side of business to the radio side of business as well. Again, radio consumption has mainly been on the roads. Now, during the lockdown, what's the kind of impact that you saw?
The radio almost, they also saw the 90% decline in the lockdown because people were sitting at home.
Right.
And, you were listening to much lesser radio than what you would do normally in that case. So digital radio also had the beating. And now going forward, I think in June, July, they also saw the big improvement coming.
Right. So, so between print and radio, where are you seeing, which segment are you seeing which is returning to normalcy faster?
I think both are doing the same percentage growth, in terms of coming back to normal. But on the radio, I think one point is that the government of India need to take a call is that they need to auction the balance stations, the frequency much, much faster. Because radio is not going to do a business for some 20 years going forward. It's going to be for 10, 15 years max. Because the more digitalization happens, people will not switch on to the radio. So if government of India is sitting on that spectrum, it's better for them to come out, let instead of having some 500 stations, let there be 5,000 stations. Every district should have their own station. Do that rather than looking at auction price. They should look at the revenue share and come out and utilize that spectrum and money also.
Right. But what's the reason that the government is resisting according to the industry?
I won't know the reasons. I'm sure there are some knowledgeable people sitting in those departments and they would know the reasons.
Absolutely. And lastly, Girish, with regards to DB Corp's focus on non-metros, where COVID infection rate, in fact, we spoke about it earlier as well, is low. The anticipation again is that all of these markets are the ones which are going to bounce back faster. Do you think this is something which is going to be a major positive for DB Corp amongst peers, number one, and it will help you grow faster as well and come out of these crises?
Absolutely. Earlier, see what happened. Let me take a minute more for this.
Sure.
Advertisers used to focus in the early 2000s only in the metros because 60-70% of India's consumption was only in metros. And little bit advertising comes to our market because in our markets in Madhya Pradesh or Jaipur or Kanpur, consumption was not a big deal. You used to buy stuff twice a year. Shoes mean somebody has to get married to buy new shoes. Otherwise, your old shoes are good enough. But in 2000, the mid-2000, the consumption started in tier 2, tier 3 city also. So advertisers started shifting the focus. If you notice last couple of years, 60 to 65% of India's consumption for any product, whether it's a Maruti vehicle, Volkswagen, or a FMCG, anything comes from the tier 2, tier 3 city. Only 30-35% come from those metros, 10 metros. With this COVID impact, this 35% will go down to 20-25%, which means the rest of India will become much bigger. So the advertising money will shift from the metros to these markets.
Right.
Because for advertiser, he's not in love with a particular metro. He wants his product to be sold. So if I'm a car manufacturer, I realize that people in Bombay are not buying cars because they are stuck in their homes. I better focus in Jaipur, Kanpur, Trivandrum, wherever, where I can sell my car because I sell the same price.
Correct. No, absolutely, I agree. I mean, wherever the consumption is going to increase, that's where the advertisement expenses are going to increase.
And also one thing has happened. You all have talked about in last few months about the job losses. You know, the impact of COVID. One of the big impact is job losses. The job losses are only in the metros. You know, because in the smaller cities, the job losses are hardly anything. And if most of the people are anyway self-employed. Now, the person who has lost a job in Bombay, forget buying a car. He can't even pay the EMI going forward.
Correct.
So
correct.
he will have more problem that city rather than the smaller towns.
The smaller towns. And Girish, one question I want to pull in over here is with regards to where the employees are concerned. But a lot of industries on the manufacturing side or on the factory side faced issues with the migrant workers that left, you know, from whichever cities they were working in. Did we see a similar instance in areas where DB Corp has presence in as well?
Yes, so we saw this for our industry also because a lot of the last mile hawkers, those who used to deliver copies, were also part of, they were not migrant workers, they were from these small towns, were living in the bigger cities. You know, for example, somebody was living in Patna, but he actually belonged to Madhubani. So when this COVID happened, he went to his village. So when he was doing the job in Patna for newspaper delivery boy, it got impacted. But since it was not that much of a distance, the guy came back after a month and people managed. But there has been an impact in our markets also. But one thing I think I would like to assure all of you that this migrant labor, those who have moved to their villages, they all are coming back, you know, for two reasons. One is that they are used to living in bigger cities now. Whether you like it or not, they cannot work in farm anymore, you know. Those who have gone, like we have newspapers in Bihar and Jharkhand and all these markets, and we are talking to those people. So when the guy has come back to Bihar or living in his Begusarai village over there, now he's not used to farming at all. So now he's sick and tired of being at home and he wants to go back to his city. Now, whether he lives in a slum or whatever, but he's more happy there, number one. Number two, he realized that whatever assignment he had to go back, meet his family, be safe, do some repair of the home and all that all done. So I think in next couple of months, they are all back. Like in Surat, I was told yesterday that almost 70,000 migrant labor already came back in last 7 days, 8 days time in Surat itself. So in most of the market, these people are coming back.
Right. But with this, Girish, you know that people are coming back. We don't know where COVID is going from here on still, because you have other countries which are already seeing the second wave which is coming. And the anticipation, at least from research agencies, is that if there is a second wave, God forbid, in India, it could probably be in the month of September, October. Now, for example, in Maharashtra itself, they've said that we've extended the lockdown to the 31st of July. Now, if these things happen, do you think, you know, again, it's going to be a difficult situation for these laborers as well to reach their factories, or even it will be a difficult situation again for businesses then?
See, nobody really knows about it. Nobody can comment on it. But one thing is that since we all have learned the hard way in last 3 months' time, we'll be more vigilant and careful to handle things going forward.
Right. And lastly, Girish, with regards to the promoters as well, we've gone ahead and cut the debt to almost around 1.6 billion from 3 billion rupees. Any further debt reduction plans in FY21?
We are now at only 160 crore rupees debt as such. So I think that also we are planning should be off in next 10 to 12 months time.
Right. So in this year, we will see debt reduction happening.
That's what we are trying.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Girish, for this conversation. Great insights that we picked up for the industry as well as for the company. Good luck, and hoping to see much more readership increases and market share gains for the company as well. And stay safe. And I hope you enjoyed the conversation as well.
Thank you very much, Hiral. It was nice talking to you. Thank you, and stay safe.
Thank you.